Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with Star Wars The Old Republic and the Mandalorian Raiders Flashpoint. And I'm bringing you this special post-commentary only featuring 3 live players. The 4th is obviously my companion, Sergeant Elara Dorne. Now, she will be providing most of the heals in this matchup, but I've of course got her back as I have gone down the combat medic tree. So you'll see me doing a lot of damage as well as the bulk of the heals when it comes to some of the major boss fights. Now we've also got Rurikhan playing as his smuggler scoundrel, Rurikhan. And he's also able to give us a couple of heals when needed, but primarily focusing on that massive DPS. We've also got my buddy Warheart playing as his character Anakin, is a Jedi Knight Guardian, so he's the primary tank in this bout. As that Mandalorian gets pinballed against the bulkheads, I do have to remind you that this was one of the first times that we had ever played this Flashpoint, so a lot of the things that you'll see kind of show off our noobness, as we weren't sure 100% how to handle a lot of the boss fights. But going down the line, I can't stop but be impressed by this game every time I play it. The amount of action that you're seeing here, the blaster fire, the explosions, the lightsaber hits, it's all beautifully done. And it really goes to show you how far great animations and sound effects can take a game. It keeps you awake, it keeps you alive, it keeps you just like so excited and immersed in the game. And then mix that with the fact that we've got these awesome levels, these maps, these huge worlds, and this ship here, once again, it's just a fine example of BioWare Austin's development. So I'm really happy with how the game is turning out so far, and I'm always excited to play, and I am loving this trooper, I must say. If you're definitely thinking about it, I can vouch for its validity in the game. So as we roll on here, we are about to run into our first boss. Let's charge up. Before we go in here, again, gotta love those individual character animations. Now, this was our first boss. Looks like he's got 2 pets. Everyone here appears to be champion level, so this wasn't going to be easy. I tried to crowd control one of them. It did not hold. So typically it seems that some champions can't be CC'd. We're all still learning things, so that's one to note. Now, as you can see, the boss seems to have this AoE perimeter target thing that we tried to stay out of and kind of kite him around as we kind of took these beasts out. Now, Elara here is doing some of the tanking against the beasts. I decide to throw in a mortar volley to take some of that attention away. Anakin comes back in, also trying to grab some of that threat. I'm just basically blowing all of my AoE abilities here. Switching over to some heals here. We got to heal Rurikhan up a little bit. Kind of a close call there, but he manages to escape in the nick of time while we bring him to full health, or at least close to that. And there's Elara also doing that backup heal. So keep an eye on the companion. She's doing a lot of work. So this does go to show you that it can be done with a companion if you play it right. Now, you do also have to make sure that she's not set on passive or doing her carbonite spray, because sometimes that can interfere with her healing ability. So you definitely want to make sure of those things. So here we go, we've got that AoE thing again. The boss apparently is following me this time around. I'm trying to bring him around this console to mess with his pathing a little bit. And we've got one of the beasts coming back down with some run and gun tactics. He's down. Now just worrying about the last one. Rurikhan and I are focusing on here. Alara's throwing in some blaster shots while doing healing. I have moved to my combat support cell in order to really focus on heals if I need to. But I am kind of going in with some DPS here. And there we go, we're doing that heal beam for some touch-ups, and then some bigger heals with the medical probes. And I feel we're at a point where life is coming back to stable amounts, and we should be able to finish this guy off with a normal tank and spank. There's Elara tanking again. She's getting it done. She does have a close call there, so I do start healing her up, as it does really help to have her around, keeping up those heals and taking some of the threat if need be. It does manage to help us as the live players stay up and running. So here we are. This guy is almost down. Still just basically throwing everything we've got at him. Blowing all the cooldowns as we roll in. Now, I'm definitely going to take this time to say that I love having an assault cannon. It is a lot of fun. And I know in one of my previous videos I said that I loved lightsabers. And while that is still true, assault cannon is my friend. But as you can see here, it's quieted down. The game has decided that we don't need any more music. And we're just going to finish this guy off in peace. And there we go. Getting taunted on the way. Get off our ship, buddy. So here we go. It's loot time, and you know what that means. Time to get excited and hope that it's for you, but it's not. It's for Hurricane over there. And I can hear Anakin screaming in Ventrilo right now about how he's not getting his fair share of loot. So here we go. Continuing on the ship, we are dealing with one of the shortcut routes that Hurricane was able to slice. This leads us up top, and we fight a Mandalorian battle droid here. Elite status, we're taking him out. A couple of ads on the way as well. We're quickly taken care of, as there's about to be quite a problem here. Anakin gets thrown off the catwalk here. Rurikhan almost gets thrown off. We're taking care of it. We're kind of laughing, I believe, at this point on Ventrilo about that, and we're like, okay, we'll take care of it. Unfortunately, something strange happened here. The battle droid got completely reset. Unfortunately, our life doesn't get reset. His buddies are back in the mix too. Anakin almost getting thrown off once again. We gotta be careful here. I'm going into some emergency heals. Now, this is one of the parts where becoming a ranged character is a great advantage, because I don't have to really run into that pushback a lot. Health is quite low. I did have to worry about multiple targets damage here. I am now focusing on Anakin. I'm not too sure of Elara's status here. She appears to be healing me finally. Unfortunately, her distance away from the other players wasn't helping too much. So there are some glitches there. Coming up from that elevator kind of glitched Elara out a little bit. For some reason, dealing with either extreme height changes or other weird areas in the level can kind of mess with the AI pathing and tends to, well, cause trouble like this. But we finally managed to bring this droid down to a close. It was more annoying than it needed to be, obviously due to that pushback. As we continue on here, we've got some heavy blaster fire on these turrets. As we move on, we got to take these things out one at a time. And I believe we've got Hurricane, who's able to basically crowd control electronic devices such as droids, turrets, and whatnot. As we carry on there, get a little bit of healing in before we go on to the next and continue. So these turrets really don't stand a chance against all this firepower after some time, although they do have a fair share amount of hit points. We are able to deal with it. So if anything, a lot of the things sometimes in these flashpoints are just time wasters in a way. They just kind of get in your way before you can really get to a true objective. Fighting turrets isn't exactly all that epic, but we carry on. So we move through a door. We see this, and we're like, oh crap, that looks like trouble. But apparently, that's not the true threat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you what is about to be one of the greatest, most difficult battles that I've seen in this game to date. And this is pre-patch, so this is still fully difficult as of this video. We're dealing with the royal opponent here, or the royal pain, I should say. And this was a tough one. As you can see, Rui basically instructed us to keep a lot of damage on multiple targets at once, as once one enemy dies, the rest of them become stronger and gain more focus upon the death of their ally. So we had to try to DPS all the targets down at the same time. However, this was not an easy feat. Aggro was being spread all over the place, as Anakin just tries to keep me safe, doing a very good job with that. I'm just looking at the health thinking, okay, I obviously have to be full on heals at this point. So I'm just trying to cap everybody off here. Elara is basically chain healing myself, which is helping. I'm throwing shields up just to keep myself alive. And then I'm going back with those medical probes, the advanced and normal one, just to keep everything going here. Throwing in more of those beam heals to do some touch-ups. And just throwing in a couple bits of damage in AoE as I can just to help out. Health is really low here. Anakin, I'm really worried about this. We still got 4 targets in the mix as we're just trying to roll in that damage. Now, fortunately, some of it is being spread out. He has blown his shield, it looks like, so we are having to keep on the rebound here. Throwing in some heals, just trying to keep Hurricane alive, Anakin alive, and myself at the same time. Definitely no easy feat. Throwing in some damage there. This is definitely a crazy battle. I'm getting thrown around there. Looks like my guy's having some trouble staying in the mix. Oh, it looks like I just passed out for some reason. A glitchy animation there. Getting back in the mix, throwing myself a med pack. That's when you know I'm getting a little desperate. And then going back to some of those heals. So many buttons. My guys are really low. Bringing them, trying to get them back to 50% health here. Elara's kind of back there. She's throwing out some heals there as well. So you can see she's the only safe one at this point. But you can definitely see where the companion is doing a really huge amount of the heals here as we go in. It's constant. This battle keeps going, but we take down one opponent, which means the rest of the enemies have now become stronger as we try to really blast these guys. I know over the Ventrilo Hurricane was yelling out, we got to get rid of them quickly, otherwise they're just going to get more powerful as we go. I'm throwing in more AoEs, getting some grenades to blow up and take out some opponents. We're going through these as fast as we can. Hopefully getting one more down soon. Anakin really low on health here, calling in those medical probes as he's taking it like a champ with that lightsaber in hand. One more down. Now we've got the 2 left, but they're getting even stronger because of the death of their friends. This one is almost down as well. We bring him down to 1 more. Can we do it? Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, that was definitely a fight. I remember when we beat this one over Van, we were pretty much exhausted at this point, and we just still had time to go get the loot and really get in there. And Elara's even passed out here on the ground, as you can see, bugging out there. So we're just recharging, healing up, hoping for some good loot, and
Understood.
Basically taking a break from that one. So resummoning Elara there because she was acting a little glitchy. But yeah, so carry on. But that's probably one of the more difficult fights. I have heard that as of a recent patch that the enemy has been dumbed down a little bit. I'm not sure if anybody can confirm that in the comments below. Let me know, because as of that battle, that was quite difficult, although we only did have a companion. However, I was being told by Rurikhan that he did try to do that fight with a full group of live players, and it was extremely difficult. So obviously sometimes, you know, those pickup groups aren't always going to get the job done, but the fact that we did manage to do it with a companion AI character was quite a feat. And the tanking by Anakin here and the damage being done all around was really excellent and on par. Everybody was doing their job, and that's what it's all about in these flashpoints. Got to keep those heals when you need it. You got to keep that damage going at the right moments, and you know, don't try to just get everything done by yourself. Really rely on the strengths of each of these classes. So moving right along, it looks like it's decision-making time, ladies and gentlemen. One of the more exciting aspects of this game, and of course, the more people you have in a party, the more interesting it can be. And, well, first sign of bad news is the fact that we have a Dark Jedi at the controls. That's never good. But let's see how this goes. So what do we have here? Mandalorian engineers, technicians, fiddling about on our ship. Can't say I'm a huge fan of that. However, I think there's a busted antenna at the back of the ship. I wonder if you guys could maybe take a look at that? Yeah, I think so. Gotta love airlocks. Not only keeping your space free of debris and garbage, but also people. So moving right along through the ship, guys, there really wasn't too much else of an issue that we had fighting throughout, as it felt that the last major boss fight was just something that could not be topped. So often in these things, typically you have a major mid-boss, which seems like it's harder than the final boss. But we were about to find out in this one as we began to just prep, heal up, move along, and here we go. He thought a demise was going to greet us, but unfortunately for him, it could be the other way around. Let's see what happens as we deal with this one. So what do we got here? It looks like we've got one major boss. Didn't appear to be just a simple tank and spank. He's got some deadly mortar barrages as well. Definitely quite used to that. He's also got these turrets that pop up. We managed to CC one in the back and just focus all of our damage on the first turret. Definitely trying to move out of that mortar volley and then move on to the next target. Just throwing a lot of damage on it. Heals don't appear to be a major issue as of yet. Moving in there just to kind of use all of my abilities, including some of the melee hits that I've got. I really just wanted to use everything I had. Elara's in there just giving us some of those touch-up heals. I'm also trying to cap off her work as we carry on. Now he's floating on to the next set of turrets, it seems, as I continue to heal on the move. Now we're just, again, working on these turrets one by one, CCing the one in the back, and moving on there. Now, unfortunately, Elara doesn't know to really get out of the way unless I tell her to follow me. Unfortunately, if I do that, sometimes it makes her go a little passive, and I try not to worry about that too much. So we're just carrying on, getting in those heals. Not feeling like there's a huge problem just yet. Biggest threat is mostly removing these turrets and then watching out for that mortar fire or any massive amount of damage that the main boss tends to do. Otherwise, health is being kept above 50%, so not so bad. As we move along here, get in those medical probes to do a little bit more work and bring health up a little higher as we carry on. So same thing with the turrets. Fairly standard issue here. Again, this was a lot more relaxing than having to deal with that mid-boss fight with all four of those enemies that we had to take down earlier. So this was a little bit more of a low for us, but still, it was just mostly a matter of dealing with a lot of hit points on the enemy opponents with the turrets and the boss himself. So it looks like we've managed to cover all four corners of this area, and the boss just goes to where he's going to make his final stand. I decide to stay in the background, throw down a couple more heals to cap everybody off for the last portion of the battle. As we just beat this guy down, he needs to get removed from our ship. You first, buddy. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been SideStrafe with Star Wars The Old Republic and the Mandalorian Raiders Flashpoint. Please make sure to stay tuned for a whole lot more. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. And now, as we finish this off with a message from Jedi Master Satele.
No longer poses a threat.
Repairing the damage those Mandalorians inflicted will take time, but the Elusis will now assist that process. The SAS intercepted another transmission from Darth Malgus to the Grand Moff. I thought you should see it.
The Republic showed unanticipated initiative. Our inability to secure their warship for the Empire is regrettable, but the rebellious Mandalorians were punished. I am gathering intelligence on the Republic agents who destroyed Clan Varad. Such formidable opposition must be dealt with.
Formidable opposition? He doesn't know the half of it. The Empire's days are numbered.
I'm concerned for your safety, and what Malgus' statement implies. Judging by his transmission, Darth Malgus is determined to make examples of you. Take extra precautions. Thank you for your service. You saved many lives today. May the Force be with you.